Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs. Wow, I have a powerhouse here for you guys today. We are going to be talking with the fabulous, that's what she goes by, the Fabulous Dorris Burch. And she's going to be talking to us all about don't be invisible, be fabulous. I can't wait to jump into this with this guest, because when you see her, and if you're not looking at this video right now and you're on the podcast, that is okay. But you've got to go over to Colleen Biggs. I am in the blue shirt. You have to go follow me so you can see these amazing videos. You can also go out to Colleen Biggs on YouTube and follow me there and see all of these videos, because she's in bright blue. She is fabulous looking, and she is not invisible today, ladies and gentlemen. She is not visible. And that is what I love so much about the Fabulous Dorris Burch. But first, I would like to thank our sponsor of today's show, The Adventures of Julie Jones, and get shit done. That's what I'm saying, girl. Are you overwhelmed and overworked with a never-ending to-do list? Do you constantly feel tired because life seems hard and your needs are nowhere near the top of the priority list? As an adventure and breakthrough coach, Julie Jones will support you in a life that is easy, effortless, and most of all, fun. Stop spending time on the have-tos in life and start truly living a life of I get to. What are you waiting for? Take action and go to www.juliejones.biz and book your free 30-minute Live Out Loud call with Julie. And let me tell you, if it's one person in my life that I know lives out loud, it is Mrs. Julie Jones. She is in my life because I knew I needed more fun. And that is why I connected with her. It's why I hang out with her. It's why we work together. And she has an awesome event coming up on November 4th and 5th. Make sure that you go to her website at juliejones.biz and get yourself signed up for that awesome event that's going to be in person in Phoenix, and you get to meet me in person if you guys show up. I can't wait. So let's get over to our guest, Miss Dorris Burch, today. And the Fabulous Dorris Burch is a fashion lifestyle content creator with a style blog called Find Your Fab, Factor.com, girlfriend. Her ultimate desire is to help women to feel confident in knowing how to be stylish at any age and at all price points, and to be confident in themselves, because what you wear affects the way you show up in your life. So true. She has a mantra and a message for women, which is don't be invisible, be fabulous, which is exactly what we're talking about today. So Dorris, welcome to the show.
Hi, Colleen. I am so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are fabulous. So I met Dorris literally a few weeks ago. I jumped onto a networking event in Polka Dot, and I just joined that women's circle. And let me tell you, I own a women's organization, but I join other women's organizations to meet other women, because every women's organization is different. They attract different women. You get to do different things. You know, the LEAP community is all about visibility and getting out there and getting yourself exposed on things like the podcast and teaching master classes and, you know, getting live LinkedIn interviews like we do every week. But the Polka Dot is so much connecting and masterminding, and I loved it. And I just could not feel the energy of the Fabulous Dorris Burch on that call. And I immediately DM'd her and was like, we need to set up a call together. So we set up a call, we chatted, we totally hit it off. And I said, you've got to be on my podcast because my listeners are going to love you. So Dorris, I'm so happy you're here. You did exactly what I did, and you took the leap from corporate career and you went into the life of an entrepreneurship. Tell me a little bit about that journey through your feelings of what happened. Did you always feel fabulous through that change and that identity shift, or did you feel invisible sometimes?
Well, my story is that I always have been connected to being in this fabulous thing. That's a part of my DNA. I always say I came out my mom's womb already highly fashionable because I got it honest from her. So that's what I really truly believe is my gift. I majored in fashion merchandising. So invisibility wasn't a huge component as far as I thought. And so this is how I'll break it down. I grew up modeling and dancing. I did tap, jazz, and ballet and modeling, all platforms that have you being seen. Mm-hmm. So I really didn't believe I had any invisibility issues. I followed the path that I was supposed to have, went to college, got out and did the corporate career thing. It was until I stepped out of the corporate space and I went into direct sales with a highly amazing women's organization company that's all about empowering women. Did I realize at that juncture that I had forgotten who I was? I had been this corporate woman. I had played that corporate game, and I was on that hamster wheel, and I forgot. I forgot me in that journey. And that is a form of invisibility, forgetting who you are. One of the biggest things I'm all about women is you have to remember who you are. Who are you being? And when you're not being in alignment to the truth of who you are, that's the biggest invisibility that women can step into. And it's subtle, and it's like it can make you think you don't have any issues with visibility. Mm-hmm. But when you're not true to yourself, and when you don't remember who you are and what you really want in life, that you don't really get to be you. And I am all about being fully you. And when I stepped out of that, that was my wake up call. That was my awakening to understand, oh my gosh, I had got so caught up with having the business card and the perks and all the things and the title that I was like, I want this certain title. And when that all went away, I was like, oh my gosh, who am I really? Mm-hmm. What happened to me? Where did I go? And I had to discover myself all over again.
Yeah, I went through the exact same thing. And when I was talking on our previous episode, number 42, we were talking about, all of us being inclusive and diversity. And that was the thing we were talking about, was the identity that you lose, and you forget who you were because of titles or position or how much money you made, because you make what you're worth to the company. So there's this stigma that exists that your worth is how much money you make. And when you become an entrepreneur, wow, that all changes so fast, because we're fabulous and worthy and are enough just being who we are. But that is a huge struggle for women to embrace. I have friends that weren't able to have children, and they struggle with that because they know a woman's body is able to give birth and have children, and they see themselves as this identity of not being a mother, but I'm a woman, so I have the capabilities, but I didn't have the capabilities, and they struggle with that identity. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because I believe that we think sometimes, and we start, we hit rock bottom and we feel that we are invisible. But Doris, all the skills that you took from corporate America made you the fabulous person you are today, to be able to take all of that, including any titles you had, any money you made. You were able to make all of that. You created all of that, and you're able to bring that into your entrepreneurial world. So what'd you do with it? We all want to know, what did you do with it?
Well, I will tell you, for me, the stepping into a direct sale company opens you up to something unexpected. It took me a year to really embrace the journey, because what happened for me was that I started to see women from all walks of life. And I come from a background saying you need to have X, Y, Z. And if you don't have X, Y, Z, then you should not be in this certain position. That's well, right. in direct sales, the table is open to all women. Mm-hmm. It's highly inclusive, and it doesn't matter what background you have, and you don't have to have X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. One woman may have X, Y, Z, one woman may not. They get to choose and decide, and that decide factor is huge when you have to realize who and what am I deciding for myself that I want to achieve. And that took me a while to release all the programming that I had journeyed on for like 15 years, to just let it go and re-embrace this new way of being and get really real about, okay, well, who do I want to be? And I had to remember myself. I had to remember that young version of me when she set out to go on this path. What did she want? And I started to dream again and visualize again. And then I just started to embrace the openings of it all. And that allowed me to really expand in that journey and really understand that women were going to buy from me. The product was going to be the same product no matter which other woman was selling it. What are the women going to buy? They have to buy me. So I had to be like, I'm going to stand out. I'm going to be the reason women try this product because I'm going to represent it, but I'm going to represent me even more. So I'm all really, the don't be invisible, be fabulous thing, remembering who you are. And then I'm also about when you walk in a room, any room, a virtual room, an in-person room, to own the freaking room.
Yes, girl.
Own it, own it, own it. And you can own it as long, and other women can own it too. So it's not like you're just like, I'm going to own this room and nobody else is. No, you're going to stand in your power with all the other women who are rock stars who have decided to own their power. And I mean, just like when you mentioned in the beginning, when we met in Polka Dot, energetic wise, frequency wise, we were on the same vibe. The same vibe. You wanted to meet me, I wanted to meet you. It was like that was happening.
Yeah. We all have to remember, no matter what level we're vibrating at, we must attract, and you will attract people, places, things, and events to the level at which you're vibrating. It just is what happens. We are energetic beings. It is what happens, right? And so I loved when you said that we need to own who we are, and we can walk into a room and other women can own who they are too. And I've always used the analogy of, if you're walking with 50 women in a forest and one person has a flashlight, a lot of people are going to get hurt. But if every woman has a flashlight, it's what shows the way. And so never surround yourself with women that snuff out your light. They should be the ones standing there saying, I want you to shine your light brighter than mine because it shows the way, and never be scared of that. And that is what I really believe makes you so fabulous, because you're not about your light, you're about other people's light while you constantly nurture your own. And I think that's so important because honestly, if we're talking about style, the sexiest thing that you can wear is confidence. Right. So I've seen women walk in a room, and it doesn't mean that you're the loudest in the room and you get all the attention. I've seen women walk in the room where I've looked at them and I'm like, whoa, who's that? They've said nothing. It's just the way they walk, the way they own their power, the way they stand, the way they move. And I think that, to me, is the most powerful, because they don't need to be loud to get the attention. They just own what's within. And so, stealing that power from other people, that's not a thing that we do. We don't do that in Polka Dot. We don't do that in the Leap community. We don't do that in anyone that surrounds me in my world, because your network is your net worth. And who you surround yourself with matters. So you've left corporate America, you've found your voice, you're not invisible, you feel fabulous, you're working in, network marketing and this direct sales company. And, the most beautiful thing about that is you get to do it the way you want to do it, just like I did it the way I wanted to do it when I started my own company, which to me was the number one freeing thing coming from corporate America. Was I get to build this the way I want to build it, and I can make as much money as I want, whenever I want, right? And that's just directly to our effort. When you're in corporate America, if you put in an extra bunch of effort, or if you put in an extra bunch of hours and you're on salary, you still get paid the same amount of money. But in the real world of entrepreneurs, your direct work and how you show up and where you show up is going to be directly related to the effort that you put in of what you get back.
And price, the difference when I stepped out of direct sales, because that had a set price point for the products, And then you build your team and all that comes with money. But when I stepped out of that space and into creating my coaching company, that was a next level as really owning who I was going to be, what I was going to charge, who did I want to work with. And that's where I see a lot of women get really confused with, because they come with all these skill sets and then they start their own business and then they forget again who they are. And then they play so small in the space, and then they don't like how they're playing because their business isn't the business they had vision, because they won't step up into it. And I get that, because that was sort of probably a journey I sort of went through in the beginning, being unsure of that, if I could really do this thing. And that was my next big step, was like, oh my gosh, and that's when I started calling myself the Fabulous Dorris Burch. So I didn't always call myself the Fabulous Dorris Burch. I was like, in 2013, I was like, okay, we need to own this a little bit more powerfully than we've been owning this. And so we're going to have to go back, tap into that young version you, and bring her to the table this time in full blown effect.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember when I used to look at Vogue magazines back in the day, and the cover was always just extraordinary. It was like, it just was amazing. And I loved it. And I always would say to myself, I want to look like I walked off the cover of a Vogue magazine, because it just had power to that statement. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to step into doing this? Oh, fabulous. But we're going to redefine fabulous. So we've redefined it. So fabulous is the euphoric feeling that only owning your power and living it can bring. And fabulous is everything you want it to be, do, and have. That is a fabulous woman. So all women can step into fabulous from that perspective. And so if you're looking at the Webster Dictionary and that doesn't resonate with you, well, then that's their definition. My definition gives all women the ability to empower themselves with claiming to be a fabulous woman. And fabulous is also an acronym that, we work with women too, but it takes you through that process. But if you get that, it's the euphoric feeling, like owning the feeling you want to have. And that allows you to live in it and own it. That's the game. That's how you change everything about what you get to create and who you get to be. And I think that allows you to really be full of you in that way, which is what I'm all about. And your style reflects that.
And I'll tell, you and every woman and even gentleman listening right now, when you show up fully in how fabulous you feel and in your power and what you can do, and you're not being fake, you're just authentic to who you are, that is what gets people to trust you, know you, like you, and want to follow you, on social media, want to buy one of your products. If you're unsure, playing small, still kind of hiding in the dark, and you're not even sure about, I think the biggest thing I hear from other people is, my biggest fear is I can't deliver on the value that I say I was going to deliver on. That's the biggest fear I hear of women in business. I work with business owners. I've worked with hundreds of them, thousands of them by now. And their biggest setback was, I'm afraid I can't deliver on the promise. And we have everything inside of us to deliver on the promise. Our goal is to deliver what we know and what we have. So we're not looking for anything else. Then there's the responsibility of the person that hired you for whatever that coaching may be or whatever that product is. They own responsibility in that.
Yes.
Right? It's not us that has to change them. They have to go through the change through the tools and resources we give them. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And that's what I think gets women tripped up with when they're like wondering about the value, because they start owning the responsibility of the client, and you can't own it. They have to want it. And that's the biggest thing that I see. And I'm like, I finally realized for myself, especially when I was just doing the coaching piece, and I was like, I need women who are like me, who want what they say they want. I'm only available. So that's a soul aligned client. And once I got clear on asking to have only soul aligned clients, did my client pool change, and those women could invest at the level that I, offer my services at. And that was a game changer when I for that realizing, oh, I don't want I remember back when I was in direct sales and a woman who was really high up in the company, and she said something so profound. She said, a lot of you're not having the business you want because you're slumming. And I thought, ooh, that's pretty good. We all can relate and know what a slum look like. And if you don't want to be in the slum and category, those people in the slums, yeah, maybe they want to be there, maybe they don't, either way. But if you go in there looking at those people, wanting those people to be your clients, well, then you don't get what you want because they're not going to be the client for you.
Here's the thing is why I wrote a book on this. I wrote a book about stepping in the spotlight to expand your influence and attract the right clients. Stepping in the spotlight is showing up anywhere you are, doing anything you do. Expanding your influence is all about your authenticity and just being yourself. And then attracting the right clients is knowing that if that person isn't going to work with me and that person doesn't see the value, or that person thinks I'm too expensive, because you hear that a lot, that's not the right client for me. I don't need to jump through hoops and change and decrease my prices, because when I devalue my value in years of experience, I'm trying to match their budget. My value is not equal to your budget. Anyone I've ever hired in my life, Doris, I have always had to pray about it. I've always had to say, if this is what I'm supposed to do and I feel drawn to that person, I'll say, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do, show me the way. And I'll tell you what, that it always gets very clear for me exactly how I'm going to pay for that.
Right. Exactly.
And most of the time it's not sitting in my checking account. Oh, the money's just sitting there. And then I just want, it's burning a hole and I want to go spend it on someone, and I share that with everyone, because if you're not willing to invest in you, why do you think anyone else should invest in you?
Right.
Yeah. We have to invest in ourselves first. Just like the airlines say, we've got to put our mask on first.
Right.
I remember I was on a plane and I wasn't paying attention. I was in an emergency row, and I had one of my younger sons with me because he was traveling with me still then. And I wasn't paying attention. The lady said, ma'am, we need a yes. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. Yes. And my son said, it really doesn't matter. She doesn't need to give you a verbal yes, because my mom will be the last one off the plane. She'll make sure everyone's off the plane before she gets off. And it just kind of made me think to myself, like, he's right. But how many times have we done that and run ourselves ragged? I would probably forget to throw my mask on, maybe, you know what I'm saying? So we can't serve others until our cup is full and overflowing. And I love when they say to drink from the saucer, instead of drinking from the cup, you drink from the saucer, because that's what's overflowing and that's why you're able to serve other people. Never lower your prices to match what someone else's budget is. Stay true to yourself and be fabulous. Being invisible is all of these things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Not being true to yourself.
All those things. Yeah.
I don't want to work with people like that. When I hire people and I talk to them, I say, I want to work with you because I'm impressed by what you do, your confidence, and what you've been able to accomplish. And they're like, okay, well, I have masterminds, I have this, I have group. And I'm like, no, I just want the fastest path to you. And what does that look like? Just send that to me. And I already know I want to work with them. So it really doesn't matter what they send me or how much money it is. I have it set in my mind that this person is going to get me where I want to go because they're what I'm looking for. It's what I need in my life at that time. I've had health coaches that I still work with. I have speaking coaches. I have business coaches. I have intuitive coaches that keep me grounded in Christ. I have all of these coaches that surround me, and marketing, you name it, because when I need something special in my business or in my life, I hire that person, and it has to be like students ready, teacher appears. So don't you believe that, God's plan is unfolding for all of us, and we try and push and pull and do all these things and be creative and all this marketing. And this is the only way that people are going to notice me. And really, Doris, you've built up a huge Instagram following. How did you get people to follow you? What were you doing on Instagram that attracted people to you?
Well, I would have to say just being me.
You don't even know, do you? You're like, I don't know. I just show up on video.
Now, one thing I will do now is because I have a huge requirement for building the audience. And so anytime I want to create something, and the way the creation of the world works is that you must speak it out. And so I now speak out what exactly I want to create for Instagram. And I write it and speak it, and that is it. And I don't know how it's going to happen because I don't get in the how, but I just stay in alignment to me showing up, being fully me, and knowing that is going to be the people that want to follow me are going to just feel my energy and frequency and follow. That's the only plan. People like all these other things that I'm like, I can't do all that other stuff. I'm just like, I just gotta do me.
Yeah.
Do me. I was like, post what I think I'm supposed to post. I get downloads sometimes and I follow the download and I move on from there.
I love that you said that. I had a business intensive training I do every quarter with my clients, and I just did it last week. So it's always Thursday and Friday, once a quarter. I hold it at a hotel here in Arizona. My clients fly in, and one of the clients, I never really asked her. She's pretty new. She joined me in June, and we were talking about concerns that people have of why they're not hiring you, right? And how to address them. We were talking about sales. And I said to her, hey, why did you hire me? She said, I had interviewed a whole bunch of business coaches. I didn't know that when I got on the phone with her. I didn't even really know that she was looking to interview me as a business coach. I thought we were just talking about the lead community, and I met her at a networking event and we were just talking, She said, within the first few minutes, I felt myself relaxing, and then I cussed. And I thought to myself, why did I do that? Why do I feel so comfortable around her? And she goes, right then in that moment, I knew you were the right business coach for me, because she had a feeling about me. I did nothing. I was just me showing up on that. I didn't cuss to her or anything, but she just felt so comfortable wherever, in my presence. And she said, right then I knew you were the right business coach for me. Mm-hmm. I said, I didn't do anything. So it was kind of a testimonial to the rest of the group that all I did was just show up on the call as me. I didn't beg someone. I didn't lower my prices. I didn't follow up with them 50 million times. I just showed up as me. And that's how you attract people, because you only want to work with the clients that you want to work with, right? So the more that you're invisible and you're not showing up as yourself because you're so worried about how other people in the room are going to judge us, I would say, try this. I bet you do this, Doris. If we don't judge others, then we never expect another person to judge us. I live by that rule. You?
Yeah. I don't have time to judge people.
I don't have time either. That's for God. I always say that's for God. Even when I had to put my dad in the ground when he passed away, and trust me, it was not an easy life. He was very abusive and he left me for a lot of years, and I didn't know who he was or where he was. And when I finally got the call, I didn't even know where he was living or if he was married when he passed away. I had a lot of baggage that I was holding on to that I shouldn't have, because it was his baggage. It wasn't my baggage, but I was holding on to that. And I just remember the day I put him in the ground and I said to God, it's all yours. I'm not carrying this anymore. He has to go now, be judged for his life that he led here on earth. And I think knowing that, doesn't that every day you just wake up thinking, I have two choices today. I can be negative Nelly. I can hate my life. I can complain about everything I have to do. I can complain about all the clients I don't have, or I can wake up feeling fabulous because the day is still going to continue anyway.
Yeah.
We have choices every day of how we show up. And I think the message you're sharing today, Doris, is amazing, because being fabulous doesn't mean, like I said, you're the loudest person or you can have a silent power in your presence.
Yeah.
So I want to know how we said Instagram. I am the Fabulous Dorris Burch. Everyone has to go follow Doris because she has some great Instagram stuff out there, you guys. And she's also at findyourfabfactor.com. Is there anything else you want to talk about how people can find you? Because everyone needs the Fabulous Dorris Burch in their life. I'm just telling them right now.
I think so. I mean, follow me on Instagram because that is where I'm really focusing right now. I really want women to really feel the confidence of self-expression through their own style and fashion. If you think it's not important, it is important. How you look, how you show up is always important. And I think women need to find their fab factor, whatever that thing that supports you in feeling fabulous. Wear the clothes that support you, regardless of how old you are and regardless of how much they cost. Cost does not always mean it's going to be the best thing. You need to know. And I'm like, until you know who you are, then you'll know the clothes to wear. Because the clothes for the woman that you really want to be, they're there. When women say they can't find anything, they don't have anything to wear, those women are always telling me they don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. I remember I thought that I was fabulous and, showed up as myself all the time everywhere. And then I hired a stylist, probably much like you, Doris. And she went through my closet and she was like, girl, you wear a lot of black. What's that about? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I never noticed I did. Boy, my whole wardrobe changed after working with her in colors. And she just helped me realize how much of what I wear really affects, my brand and the level of my brand. And I just didn't put those two things together because to me, I was just as fabulous in black as I was in, royal blue, like the color you have on today, which is gorgeous. But, obviously that blue really stands out.
Yeah,
really stands out.
And I'm like you, I love black too. I mean, I still wear black stuff, but I have to be very intentional about color. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what she probably led you to learn, the intentional. Like you can wear color and then you can wear color. You need to understand the power of a color in an outfit. Just don't put on a blue shirt. Everything about this top has, to see it in person is amazing. The back has got some detail to it. It's just like, this is so freaking fabulous. And I feel fabulous in it. And and the color just stands out. So it's real intentional about your colors too, and the clothing that you're putting on your body, that it just falls on your body. And it's like, you're not worried about it. You look good in it. You feel good in it. All the things. I mean, that's all intentional about it. And I think when you hire a stylist who is really good at what she does, that she allows that to support you in looking your most fabulous self.
I love it. You just got to own it. So we should just tell women right now, own you. Own who you are.
Whoever that is. And if you're not her today, decide who it is, because I'm sure every woman knows who they want to be. Sometimes they're scared to be her because of what other people may say, but you can't worry about what other people are going to say. It has nothing to do with them, but everything to do with you.
That's right. We are leaving on that note. Wow. That was a really good hitting the home run right there. Thank you so much, Doris. I just want to remind all of the fabulous ladies and gentlemen out there listening that you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that will ever be. Let that sink in for a moment. You're the only you that's ever going to be. How you show up for yourself, how you are fabulous in who you are matters every single day. The belief you have in yourself is what will create success or create failure for you every single day. It is your choice and your choice alone. The fabulous Dorris Burch. Wow. Thank you so much for being on our show today. You are fantastic.
Well, thank you for having me.
I loved it. All right, listeners, we are signing off. So remember this week, be you and be strong. And until we see you next time, bye-bye for now.